What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I'm your hostess, doing the mostest, Kivanshi, and we are here for Film Wednesdays with another Hearts for Holidays. And if you didn't look at the title, which I'm sure y'all did, then you already see that this Wednesday's film is Style Me for Christmas, starring the Raven Goodwin and the Mario, no last name. So this film is an hour and 37 minutes and it comes on BET Plus. So if you have the BET Plus app, if you have cable, or if you subscribe to BET Plus through Prime Video, you can watch it in those areas. Now, I don't know what I was expecting for or from this movie and for this movie. I think I maybe had some expectations for like what I wanted to see. And I saw the trailer and everything, and I'm just like, okay. But I will say one thing that is a theme with all of the movies so far that I've been watching, even though it's like love and Christmas and everything like that and romance, and a lot of these are romantic comedies. I think a lot of Christmas movies are romantic comedies. I love that these films, especially this one, and for sure Brewster's Millions Christmas from last week, it's not centered around a woman finding a man and like being devastated that she didn't find the love for the holidays. Like, love in the romantic comedy part of these movies is like the backdrop, and I love that the women have like a greater purpose or like a deeper purpose, because it truly just, I don't know, you grow up when you're watching Disney movies and relationships looks a certain way. When you look at 90s rom-com movies, like relationships look a certain way, and they're framed in a way that a woman's life is incomplete no matter how much money she has, no matter her employment or anything like that. It's framed in a way that a woman's life is incomplete until she has a man to love her and like a family and stuff like that. So what I love is that we're still able to keep the cheesiness, the ridiculous timeline of those type of movies, while also being up to date with the way that women are now and just the state of womanhood. And so to me, like the biggest thing that kept me going in this movie, amongst other things which I will get into, is the fact that she has ambitions outside of finding love. Like, finding love is not even on the list. So seeing this character be ambitious and have goals and really center those goals ahead of I'm not gonna say necessarily like you have to choose one over the other, but one is definitely more pressing than the other. And it's really nice to see that this character and the approach in the way that it was written to be like, okay, things happen, but life goes on. And so that's what kept me through this entire movie. So I kind of like gave a little bit of it away, and I took hella notes. I was not planning on taking notes. Y'all already know how I do my film reviews. I'm just here to give you some little crumbs, and then you can go watch the movie if you want to. Don't if you don't. Like, it is what it is. But I found myself taking a lot of notes. So before I get into some of those notes, let's go ahead and get in with the information that I always supply y'all with. So if you couldn't tell, the genre is romantic comedy. This is a story about a boutique owner facing eviction who finds an opportunity when tasked with styling a charming celebrity, blurring the lines between business and pleasure. The writer is Lynette J. Blackwell, as well as Julene Fleurmond. The director is LazRael Lison. Raven Goodwin is also credited as a producer, so shout out to you, girl. You deserve. The director of photography is Jeffrey Chu. And it stars Raven Goodwin as Tiffany, Mario as Tedee Maxwell, Pretty V as Tiffany's assistant and best friend since childhood, Rhea, and Cheryl Frazier, who plays Sarah, who is like a second mom to him. She's been managing him since he was 14. He's in his 30s, so sometimes she's just called Sarah, and sometimes she's referred to as the momager. So I want to try to give this film review like I do all of them. All of my other film reviews, I don't take notes. I pretty much like write down like summaries of what I think and stuff like that. But I took a lot of notes, but I don't want to necessarily give the movie away. But that just goes to show like how interested I am in this film and a film like it. So I will say, okay, what is the movie about? So I already told y'all, this is literally how I be talking to people at work. They be like, what do you think? What do you think? And I be like, all right, boom. So, Tiffany owns a boutique. It's called La Boutique de ma mère, and it means my mother's boutique in French. So her mother has passed away and she inherited the boutique. But this isn't one of those things where it's like, oh my God, I'm not really wanting to carry on the family legacy. I wish I could have my own dream. She is a stylist, okay? Like some of her best memories was just learning how to sew, style, and design with her mom. So this is a boutique that she absolutely wants to keep afloat, but rent increase is going up and y'all already know how it is, even in real life. And I love that this movie, who else did it? The show Johnson, even in their last season that they had, season 4, it was about rent increases going up where these big corporations are increasing rent in predominantly black neighborhoods and then buying them out or pushing them out through eviction. So I love how in a very subtle way this is brought up in the movie, even though it's not necessarily like the biggest focus. It is a focus, but it's not the biggest one. And so her and Rhea are trying to figure out like how they're gonna work. And Rhea's like, look, love your mama to death. She was a mama to me. But you know, the stuff that you're selling is from your mom's generation. And Tiffany's like, I can't even afford to go and buy new clothes. And she's like, you don't need to buy new clothes. You need to use this fabric, rip the little hems and the stitching up, and then make you something new. And so it's kind of thrown out in jest around the time where Playboy Tedee Maxwell is trying to come out with a Christmas album to clean up his career and his image and everything like that. But just because you're saying you're coming out with a Christmas album doesn't necessarily make you wholesome, because your personal life is still in the front pages and it's looking real messy. So Sarah is like, okay, we need to find you with somebody that is not messy, not toxic or anything like that, so that we can at least get you cleaned up and just have a good, clean, wholesome PR relationship up until your Christmas song comes out ahead of your album. So Sarah does some perusing and some scouring and things like that. And so it's her idea to enlist Tiffany to style Tedee, but under the guise of Tedee and Sarah knowing like, okay, we're gonna use your like connection with her to make your image look better. And obviously Tiffany is in the dark. Now with most of these movies, stuff gets found out, okay? Like stuff gets found out. So some of the bigger things that I really, really enjoyed in this movie. So Tiffany is a bigger girl, okay? And one of the things that I liked in the movie is that some of the hesitation or the reluctance from Tedee, or even some of the things that the antagonist Nicole says and does, I love that it's not rooted in the fact that she's a bigger girl. Like, we can see how much she weighs, we see her size, and I love that it's not the focus of the movie, and that it's not, she's not getting bullied for being this way or being told that she's less than or not pretty enough to bag a celebrity. And one of the things I'm trying to think, just even to myself, of like even holiday movies where you have bigger women being the object of affection and it has nothing to do with being big. They're not having this inner turmoil of like, look at me and look at her. Why would you want somebody like me? Like, Tiffany knows that she's a bad bitch. She's just trying to keep her boutique afloat. Like, she don't have time to be dating right now. She knows her face card never declines. She knows her body is T. She knows her personality is A1. Okay, she can cook. Okay, she goes out, she takes care of herself, but that's just not her focus. And so I love that she doesn't have self-esteem issues. I love that there were moments in this film, particularly at the end, where she highlights and brings to focus, though, you know, I am plus size and I'm a stylist. This world says that there's no space for me, but I am here to break all the rules. And she gives a message to everybody who's ever felt othered, who's ever been bullied, who ever been told that they were less than, or made to feel less than, or purposely brought into spaces just to be the butt of somebody's joke. I love that they were able to infuse this opportunity to speak to a lot of people that look like Raven Goodwin, or people who could just relate to that message. I love how that was integrated in a story like this, because again, you don't necessarily see it. I think like the last rom-com that I've seen that truly centered big women was what was it called? Fat Girls with Monique. And yes, it was, you know, her highlighting herself being like plus size and stuff like that. Like, Monique has never shied away from that. But even in that same movie, like, because Monique in real life, like, she knows she looks good. So it was still like another movie where it's like, okay, I'm a big girl, but like, I pulls men. And so I love that this movie was able to capture like the essence of a movie like Fat Girls, PHAT, into a holiday movie like this. Now, going back to my girl having priorities. So we know silly little movies like this, we pretend, but then we accidentally fall in love, and then it all gets like super messy. Okay, let's talk about Nicole. Nicole is the ex who is very toxic that Tedee proposed to 5 years ago in Mexico, and she told him no. So then here she comes sauntering back with her contacts. Y'all. Now, I don't dislike color contacts. If you've seen my Halloween Akasha special for Queen of the Damned on here, then you already know your girl. Well, this is my first time ever putting on contacts, but still, I'm gonna put on some contacts. But these contacts is the ones that you got on 163rd in the beauty supply with that color. It basically looked like Interview with a Vampire contacts. And if you watch the show, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, they clearly look like they're not meant to be your eyes. And so I'm just like, girl, you causing a lot of trouble with somebody with contacts that look like that. But I digress. So she comes back, she's trying to get that old thing back, and she is kind of set out to like sabotage this relationship because she has this air of superiority and just like, look at me and like, look at her. She's plain and I'm fabulous and all these other things. And again, another moment where you have a very self-centered character who's trying to down the new girl and down the new relationship, but they never made it about her being big. The worst thing that Tiffany was called was plain, in that she needed to take more time away from work to invest just in herself. Like, girl, you know, go out and take yourself on a date, you know, every once in a while and do, you know, do stuff like that. Like, you don't have to be in sweats all the time. You know, what does Rhea say? You look like you dress for a funeral every day, all day. And, you know, that's like normal. Like, sometimes when you get really busy and you're really focused and you're really stressed, like, the first thing to go is your appearance. So, you know, she's showering, she's brushing her teeth, she's coming to work, but like, I don't have time for no dates. I don't have time to even take myself out on a date. So again, I love that it was just all about her looking plain, and her being seen as not being able to fit into the celebrity lifestyle, and trying to fit this aesthetic of what Tedee Maxwell is known for. So she's basically got her little claws up in the dirt and in the sand, kicking up things, while Tedee accidentally falls in love. So here's where things got really, really cute for me. The movie kind of starts off in a framework that makes you think that the woman is going to be the one devastated or pursuing something and upset when it doesn't happen. But again, just like Brewster's Millions Christmas, it ends up being the man who's like, wait a minute, I got this ice box where my heart used to be, and you melted it, okay? And so in this space, Tiffany is like, okay, I can't do this right now. I got bigger things to focus on. And if this was like a 90s movie or early, especially 2000 to 2006, if this was a movie anywhere in that time, the series of events would have had Tiffany in her room, crying, not caring about her shop, throwing in the towel, all because of some man. No. And instead, it's the man being like, oh, wait a minute. Oh my God, what was life without you? I don't know that life anymore. I don't want to live that life anymore. Like, please, baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. And it was your fault anyway, but I'm just saying. So I'm just really loving, the season of men begging. I love that for all of them. I really, really do. I just had a super random thought, but like, are there any like LGBT Christmas movies? Like, I would really love like a Noah's Ark Christmas special, or like give me Fellow Travelers Chemistry, but like a Christmas movie. You know what I'm saying? Just had a random thought about that. But yeah, I thought that the movie was really good. So when I rate these movies, you gotta put holiday movies like in a category all their own, because off rip, they're all corny, okay? We done met, fell in love, broke up, rekindled in 4 days. Like, the timeline is absolutely ridiculous. The scenarios are ridiculous. The way that people respond is like no way that people respond in real life. So sit in that as I give my rating. So for a holiday movie, I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. Now, I'm gonna just be real honest with y'all. The reason it's not like a 7.5 or even an 8 is because, and I hate this about myself, because sometimes I watch movies as like, well, I guess I'm doing press and media now, but like sometimes I watch it as like a critic of like the scenes, the writing, sound design, plot, storyline, is it cohesive and stuff like that. So I went into this watching it just to watch it, but something that stood out that kind of like picked my like critic's ear is in a couple of the scenes, not all of them, but in a couple of the scenes, the music, the background music came in during speaking scenes and it was too loud. And so there were a couple of scenes where I couldn't really hear what the characters are saying. Now, when I review stuff for the podcast, or even just for Twitter and the timeline, or for Instagram, I post a lot of other stuff on Instagram. I always put on closed captions because I'm typically like typing and taking notes and stuff like that, and trying to just rely on what I hear, it makes it hard. So, and then when I'm trying to get like character names and stuff like that, y'all already know, like a lot of shows just jump right in and you don't hear anybody's name being said until like 15 minutes into the show or the movie. So I knew what they were saying because I had the closed captions on, but it was hard to hear what they were saying. So y'all might be like, Givenchy, you're being like super critical, but it stood out enough for me to like look up and then like rewind to make sure that like what happened didn't happen, but it actually did happen. Other than that, I will say that the timeline on this actually wasn't as ridiculous as other movies. I think it was about 3 weeks to maybe a month. And I think that sometimes, you know, you can fall in love quickly depending on the quality of the time and the quality of the relationship that you are building with a person. So when you go into it with an open heart and with an open mind and you're genuinely just trying to have a good time, you'd be surprised at what can blossom from that. I've seen other movies where it was like 5 days. You know what I'm saying? So in the realm of rom-coms, this is actually like a decent timeline. And it didn't, well, I don't want to say how it ended. It's a decent timeline that sparks the beginning of something and not like a completion of something else. And I can't even describe what I'm trying to say without giving it away. But if you know what I mean, like these rom-coms, y'all know how these rom-coms be ending. Okay, this is not that. The end is a new beginning. And lastly, I'll say what a great way for Mario to promote his music. Ever since the Verses, Mario has been very consistent with his music and just very consistent in staying on topic of conversation, just being in people's minds. And so even being able to land this role, a lot of his music and his voice were the songs that was in there. And can I just say, I know this is a film review for Style Me for Christmas, but I'm about to go on a quick tangent. I hate when movies and TV shows be starring singers in real life whose character is also a singer in the show and they don't sing. I'm talking to you, First Wives Club. I'm talking to you. Because why is Jill Scott have an illustrious career in First Wives Club, but she ain't saying not a lick? Don't get me wrong, I love Deborah Cox and I love hearing her sing, but baby, Jill Scott, ma'am, win, okay? Because you play on BET, so BET, somebody write it in there because I'm tired. With that being said, I love that we got to hear Mario and just the maturation of his voice, and the fact that it is a movie that's centered around him being a music star and he's trying to clean up his image for Christmas. And so we're hearing in the background, this ain't even the song that he's working on in the movie, but because it's in the realm of holidays, we get to just hear like the background music be Mario singing. And so I think this is really smart for BET Plus to incorporate a Black artist and have him be on the soundtrack. And I didn't look up if he has, let me look this up, if he has a Christmas album coming out, because that would be so smart that with all of this plus the Christmas movie and the songs that he was singing in the movie, to have a Christmas album. So give me 1 second. Does Mario have a Christmas album in 2024? Let's see. So it doesn't look like it. I thought this would have been really smart. It seems like Glad You Came was released last year. This would have been a really good opportunity for Mario to come out with a Christmas album, but you know, I don't know his plans. I don't know what he has going on. But all I can say is Raven Goodwin, Raven Goodwin, Raven Goodwin. Like, I'm so excited to see her face in so many things. I love that her and Amber Riley finally got into a movie together. I love that Lifetime movie. Like, y'all need to go check it out. I'm over here sounding like I work for Raven Goodwin, but I'm about to tell y'all the name of this movie in case you don't know. Raven Goodwin and Amber Riley movie. There's 2 parts out. It's called Single Black Female, Single Black Female 1 and Single Black Female 2. I know she was in Grotesquerie, which is nominated for some awards. What else was she just in? I know this movie, Grotesquerie is the most recent thing that I can think of. So Grotesquerie came out this year, this movie came out this year, and Single Black Female 2 came out this year. If you didn't see the Clark sisters movie that came out on Lifetime a few years back, she's in that movie as one of the Clark sisters. I'm just really enjoying her as an actor, as an artist, and the projects and stuff that she's been in. And she's been in a range of things: comedy, drama, horror. Grotesquerie is crazy, and she is phenomenal in that show alongside Niecy Nash and Courtney B. Vance. Like, y'all need to go watch it. But before you go watch any of those things, you need to tune into BET Plus and go ahead and catch Style Me for Christmas. So there's that. A lot of information, guys, but as you can see, I was really excited. This might be my longest Film Wednesday review ever. Like, I don't know, I'm shocked, but I'm excited. I would definitely watch the movie again, and I can't believe that there's only one more Wednesday this month. What do y'all think that I should close it out with? I would love to get some suggestions below. I have a few in my notes. I still haven't decided, but if you have some good ones in there, hopefully it's something that I haven't seen, because all of these movies are ones that I have not seen for the month of December. So if you can give me some good suggestions, doesn't matter like if it's new or old, I would love to hear them in the comments below. And with that, you can always like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Like I said, leave comments in the comment box below. Talk to me. I definitely be talking back to y'all. If you have people in your life that don't want to look at the videos, then go ahead and share that link to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can also find me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast, where I talk about so many other shows. Award season is coming up, so just be on the lookout for me covering movies and TV shows and stuff that's nominated there. Plus, I got some very fun content coming out around the surrounding the award show come January. And what else? You can always find me on Twitter, live tweeting and just popping my ish on a whole bunch of shows at Kevonshi. And you can find me over on the Butterfly app, Blue Sky, at Kevonshi. And with that, I will catch y'all next week. I will catch y'all in the next episode.